Well, thank you very much. I know it was a few short years ago that this dinner was about 200 people. Only in Berks County could you write this story for the families, students, young adults of John Paul II. Craig, I want to thank you for all you're doing to hire some of our students and give them a better way. I know Eric Savage has done that. Eric, thank you. And I would reach out and ask anybody in the community who has the ability to do that, including us at East Penn, that we would look to do the same thing, continue to give the students and their families a better way. I think back of where this all started with Sister Frances in 1982. I don't know if you know Sister Frances, but she's about this big. One of the few people I'm taller than. And she's a vibrant Scottish nun, would take no for an answer. Bishop Barris, thank you and the diocese for your support to give us a seed capital to get going. And I also want to acknowledge the past honorees, Jack and the late Peg Horrigan, Monsignor Treston, Mike and Margie Mezak, and Vince and Mary Lou Parisi. Literally, Kathy and I stand in your shadow. We never thought we'd get this involved with an organization, let alone this organization. And I got a call from Jack Horrigan about 15 years ago and invited me to come see the school one morning. And you know me, I want to go early. If you know me, it's early. So I start 6:30. He pushed me to 7:30. So I went to the school. It was in West Reading in a building rented. And I said, okay, I'll have a cup of coffee with Jack because I love the guy, and then I'll be on my way. I walk in and I meet a young man. He's got a 76er shirt on with a basketball, and he said, I'm going to be the next Allen Iverson. It was unbelievable. And then the kids came back from Mass. They had Mass at Sacred Heart, and had some of the children there that actually served in the Mass, and they were just excited they went to Mass. And around my house, that doesn't happen. So I was pretty moved with that. I'm trying, Bishop, I'm trying. But I got in a car and I called Kathy and I said, I just had the most amazing experience in my life. I said, this was incredible. And from a secular viewpoint, it was the most expensive coffee I ever had. I'll tell you that. Secular. But we continue to be moved by all the constituents involved in John Paul II. The teachers and their aides. We went to a board meeting about a year ago, and Mary Adams very often has us go in at 5 o'clock into one of the classrooms. One of the teachers was there, and she taught 6th or 7th grade equivalent children. And she told about a sleepover that she had. Now remember, most of these children never got invited to a sleepover. So she had a sleepover at the school, and she stayed up all night. Now nobody pays them to do this. And she had the boys in one and the girls in the other, and she had a rocking chair, and she had an assistant with her. And I thought, that was awesome for those kids. What a night. But she said many of those parents never had a night alone or away since they had those children. So we reached the families, not just the kids. And the heart of those teachers and assistants and volunteers to do that really moved me. We have great leadership with Mary and her staff. The volunteers put the dinner on, also at the school, endless number of people and a great board of directors. But most of all, we have terrific constituents in our students and young adults and their families. I'm moved by their sacrifice, their joy, their unselfishness, and their love, unconditional love. And when you go there, you see the hope, and it really is uplifting, uplifting. I want to thank all of you for being here, because as private citizens, you've all given your time and treasure to make this happen. This isn't a government movement. This is what you've all done with your time and treasure to the extent you can. It's awesome. We're expanding opportunities for kids, young adults, and their families to increase their quality of life and give them a place to go. God has truly blessed all of us, and it's blessed John Paul II. Kathy and I are very humbled and honored to be awarded this presentation tonight. But really, we're the ones that are better off for being involved with John Paul II. The little bit we can do has paid back dividends. And the dividends really are the love and the joy I feel when I go to that school and the people I'm involved with. So we received a lot more than we've given. And it's not from anything other than the love of the students, the young adults that we serve, and their families who really make it all happen. And that's what it's all about. So we stand here in humble feeling about that and about what it's all about. And we're just very honored to be here tonight and in all your company. Thanks for what you're doing for this school. And if you haven't gone there, you got to go. But I'll tell you this, the only person sad is you if you come in, because when you leave, you're going to be happy as you can be. So thank you very much for all you've done for the school and for Kathy.
I just wanted to say that when our oldest daughter was in St. Ignatius, she went with Monsignor Treston to John Paul II to be an altar server. And she came home, and that evening at dinner, when we sat around the table, she said to me, "Mom, I went to John Paul II today, and I saw these children, and some of them were so severely handicapped that as a 12 or 13-year-old young lady, she could not imagine that they could be happy." But she came home and she said, "Mom, every child there was happy." And so starts our involvement with John Paul II. Thank you.